Hey nerds, Alex here from Nerds Being Geeks, and today I'm going to talk about my Fire Gym Leader Challenge deck. Let's get into it. Alright guys, here we go. My Fire Gym Leader Challenge deck. Quick overview, if you don't know what Gym Leader Challenge is, it is an alternate format for Pokemon. It is a singleton format, so you can only play one copy of each card besides basic energy. It's a monotype format. That means if you want to play fire, all of your Pokemon have to be fire. If you want to play water, all of your Pokemon are water. No rule box Pokemon, no EX, V, VMAX, EX. What did I say that? GX, so all the X's, Radiance, base specs, no rule box. All right, so let's get into the deck list. Fire is known to be very hard to, I wouldn't even say master. I don't think that there is any particular fire deck that really jumps out as, S tier deck. Since the format has started, I'd say fire has been probably one of the hardest types to get to the top with. As of right now, I think it is universally panned as probably the worst GLC typing in the format as of today. I have had almost no luck with it. I had a buddy come over and play a few weeks ago, and we're kind of doing a conquest with all of the decks. I have made a deck for each type. Fire was really struggling. I'm sure there's a more optimal way to play this, but I don't think there's one set in stone, like this is how you have to play fire. All right, so here is my list. I just want to start off with down here with this Charizard from the Pokemon Go set, because a lot of these other cards are going to be based off of this Charizard's ability to burn brightly. Each basic fire energy attached to your Pokemon provides 2 fire energy. You can't apply more than 1 burn brightly at a time. So a lot of these Pokemon rely on doubling your energy with Charizard, and if this family gets knocked out whatsoever, it is basically your number one goal to get it back in play. So Charizard is, and I'd say for most fire decks, no matter how you're building it, this Charizard from Go is probably a staple in a fire deck. So one card that really takes advantage of that burn brightly ability is this Entei with the Blaze Ball attack. This attack does 20 damage for each fire energy attached with a base of 60. So, you're trying to get your fire energy doubled and hit those big numbers. I do have this Moltres, which can have free retreat, which isn't bad. It has the Blazing Flight attack. Discard 2 fire energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So it's sniping the bench, and that comes into play a little bit later. An interesting inclusion is this Torchic with the Barrage Ancient trait. This Pokemon may attack twice. And, if you knock out your opponent's Pokemon, they bring a new one up to the active spot and you get to attack again. So what you do with this is you kind of use it with some of the tools that we have, which, can be turbo energize. So you can keep generating energy. And then this blind side. So for 3 energy, it does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So you kind of want to spread some damage and then use the blind side TM to really just kind of clear their board. Does it work? It's not the best, but it's fun to do when you can pull it off. I'm going to jump around because, speaking about spreading damage, I have this Ninetales with the 9-tailed dance for 2 fire. Put 9 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So you're spreading damage with Moltres and Ninetales to try and use Blindside later. So another attacker on this is this Arcanine. 190 is a pretty solid attack. You know, if you got Charizard out, that's 2 fire energy. It's not bad. I mean, you can even do Grand Flame attached to fire energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, so you can kind of accelerate some energy that way for 120. But really, you're just trying to hit those bigger numbers at the 190 mark. So let's talk about some of the support Pokemon. I'd say almost another staple in the fire decks. So you want to use this Magcargo for the smooth over ability. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, and then put that card on top of it. So you're kind of setting up your next draw. You know, you're using this to kind of set yourself up to also use your other support Pokemon, Salazzle, with Roast Reveal. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. So you're trying to set up your next draw with Magcargo and then draw into it with Salazzle. But we play things like Trekking Shoes or Acrobike to draw those top cards that are on your deck that you set up with Magcargo. I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary. Buddy Buddy Poffin, some Energy Search, Recovery, Evolutionary Incense, Field Blower, a lot of Ball Search, Heavy Ball with like Magcargo and Arcanine and Charizard. You're really trying to find some of those bigger guys, and that's a good way to do it. You know, Nest, Level, Ultra, Hisuian. We play Adventure Bag to search out those tool cards like Blindside, Floatstone, Technical Machine, you know, some Recovery. Basically staple stuff in every deck. You know, Escape Rope, Rescue Stretcher. And then we, you know, play Fire Crystal, put up to 3 fire energy from your discard pile into your hand. I guess you could play, you know, like the Superior Energy Retrieval, but, you know, you can get 3 energy back and you don't have to discard cards from your hand. So onto the supporters. You know, a play thing like, it's kind of like Roxanne, but Ace Trainer. Get you there maybe a little bit quicker than Roxanne would. Disruption of your opponent's hand. You can play this card only if you have more prize cards left than your opponent. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck. You draw 6 cards and your opponent draws 3. And then we play things like Arven to, you know, search out those tools as well. A lot of staple stuff. Boss's Orders. I play Skyla to search out any of the trainers I want, especially the tools. Because if you can get that Blindside set up and attack twice, you can do a lot of damage that your opponent might not see coming. Search your deck for 3 evolution Pokemon, Cynthia, and but Fire has a lot of really good support, but just the Pokemon don't seem to be there. You know, there's the Mela. That's a lot like Raihan. Pull basic fire energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw until you have up to 6 cards, but you can only play it if a Pokemon was knocked out last turn. So it's a lot like Raihan. You know, Welder. Attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do draw 3 cards, once again, you tag that up with Charizard. That ends up being 4 energy. Attach up to 2 fire energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. Blacksmith. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a card from their hand. If they do, that player searches their deck for up to 2 fire energies, reveals them and put them into their hand, and then that player shuffles their deck. So it's just another energy search stadium along with Scorched Earth. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a fire or fighting energy from his or her hand, and if that player does, they draw 2 cards. I play 9 basic fire energy, and of course I theme it out with the red deck box. Hold my extra sleeves. And these like blood red dragon shield sleeves. Like all of my GLC decks, I like to theme them out. I really have gone back and forth on the Fire decks. It's really hard to nail down how I want to build this deck and what I want it to do. Just a few months ago, I used this Infernape with the Pyro Dance. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Fire energy card, a basic Fighting energy card, or one of each from your hand to one of your Pokemon in any way you like. So you team that up with this Camerupt that does the Cinder Cannon with a base of 120. You may discard a Fighting energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 120 more. So that's 240 damage for 3 energy. And then once you discarded the Fighting, you can apply it again with Infernape. I thought that was a really cool combo, and I still haven't figured out the exact way how I want to build this. But, even this Infernape can do 200 damage for just 3 energy. Their HPs are really low. I mean, 140 HP on a stage 2 is rough. Camerupt is a stage 2 with 130. I mean, Entei is a basic with 130. Moltres is a basic with 120. I'm already, dealing with a lot of these stage 1s that with the low HP, like Ninetales or Salazzle. Arcanine's only 140 HP, so they're not big Pokemon, but they can hit hard if you set up right. So I go back and forth on including these, but it would, I'd have to completely redo the whole deck. And to be fair, Fire is not, my top priority when it comes to my GLC decks. All right, guys, that is my Fire Gym Leader Challenge deck. What kind of Fire deck are you playing? I guarantee Charizard from Pokemon Go is in it. Let me know your thoughts. What could I do to make this a little bit better? What does Fire itself need to get better? All right, guys, as always, I appreciate you watching. Let me know your thoughts. See ya.